Hello, it's me, Milton Jones, live here from the International Leaflet Festival, otherwise known as the Edinburgh Fringe. If you want to send your questions in to me, I won't answer them, but we'll read them out and I'll try and think of something to say about them. Hope you're well, hope you're sitting at home or wherever you are. Perhaps you're on Facebook Live too, no idea. Anyway, I'm going to sit with this coffee in this dungeon and wait for your questions. So get typing. Any questions at all? Doesn't matter what it is, be happy to answer. In your own time, which you're wasting. Well, it's been nice talking to you. I'm going home on Sunday anyway, to be honest, so probably most of the tickets are gone for my shows. Mind you, I am going out on tour soon, big tour all over the country. Probably won't know if I'm in your town or not. It's just dark rooms to me. I say the same sort of things, just change the names of the towns. Pretend to be glad to be there.
Okay, questions are coming through now.
Yeah.
A simple one to start off with. How are you? Says Brie Allen.
I'm fine, thank you. Rhiannon?
We've got Neil saying good day from Australia.
Hey, Neil, how's it going? It must be, what's it? It's noonish here. No, it's lunchtime here, so it's probably middle of the night for you, isn't it? Yeah. How's it going for you? And what did you do to have to go to Australia?
Martin Williams says, give us a joke about the trellis behind you. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
That's all right. Trellis behind me. Grow up.
So Giles Harry says, where's the jacket from?
The jacket is from, trying to think, I think I bought it in Richmond actually, to give a veneer of respectability. Doesn't really work there, unfortunately. Apparently the colours to wear this year are yellow, pink and brown. Well, I read that in Neapolitan magazine. It's a joke.
Neil Taylor says, all right, Milton. Well, first he says, how old are you? And then he says, what is your best joke?
How old am I? I'm actually a Time Lord. So I don't age in the same way, and I regenerate every 75 years. So I'm actually 53 years through that. So then I'll regenerate into another form. My best joke is probably the last one I wrote, which is I once went on a date with Tinkerbell, the fairy from Peter Pan. We arranged to meet in a pub. I couldn't find her. I phoned her. The last words I heard were, I'm by the patio heaters.
Alex says, how are your granddads getting on?
All my granddads are fine, thank you. Many of them, as you know. Let's see. My other grandfather, he's got a metal plaque on his forehead dedicated to a park bench that died. And I can go on. I could literally fill this whole Facebook thing with granddad's stuff. But, you know, got more interesting things to talk about, haven't we?
Michelle Bissenden says, have you been to New Zealand where I live and will you come to Dunedin?
Do I need to? Anyway, I have been to New Zealand actually about 5 years ago. I was in Auckland and I went on stage and said, good evening, Australia, which was awkward. I mean, Auckland. Nice place, though. Nice place. It was a bit like going back in time about 10 years in a good way. But nice fish.
Simon Pegg says, how's your other granddad? No, not that one. The other one.
Okay, Simon Pegg, how's your Star Trek career going? I bet you don't get that a lot. My other grandfather is fine. He's a bit of a man for the ladies. Doesn't matter how clearly the gents are signposted. In he goes to the ladies. That's that. But they're all pretty well, thanks. Big family gathering.
Will Wood says, do your kids roll their eyes at your jokes when you tell them?
Yes, they're not actually allowed to eat until they've laughed at my jokes. But then they found out that money was involved, so they hold out. They write down on a piece of paper and say, "How much is this worth, Dad?" And obviously, then I say it's 10p or something. And the next thing they know, they see it on television. Ha 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 ha. But it doesn't always work like that. But they have written some of my good jokes. Jeremy, when he was about 10 years old, he came up with this. He said, "Is it just me, or does the Queen's face look like a coin?" And that works, surprisingly. So you got 20p for that.
Martin Williams says, do you and Tim Vine share or compare gags to avoid terribly embarrassing situations?
I'm not quite sure what the terribly embarrassing situation would be, because we're never really on the same stage, not much booked for the same bill. But yes, I do phone him up, and he phones me up sometimes to check, do you have a thing about whatever, and Stuart Francis, and occasionally Gary Delaney, and all the one-liners get together and have very short conversations. Yes, and also we keep a lookout for other people stealing each other's stuff, which happens more than you'd think. Quite a lot by advertising companies, I think you'll find. Meh.
Jason Manford says, would it be rude if I grab my phone? It's charging behind the trellis behind you.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Can you stay where you are, Jason, please?
Really sorry.
No, he's not at all sorry. It's not at all sorry. Yeah, thanks. That was really Jason Manford, ladies and gentlemen, grabbing his phone. Anything for publicity. That's what he's like. That's what he's like.
Okay, Jeanette Binney says, what do you think about the pedestrianisation of Norwich city centre?
With all the problems in the world, the pedestrianisation of Norwich city centre is pretty near the top. In fact, for a long time I've heard about the Norfolk B roads, or as some people call them, Norfolk Broads. And it's plain flat out of order.
Jacob says, how many leaflets have you picked up so far this fringe?
Well, I've picked up thousands. I've also put down thousands in bins quite soon after I picked them up. The important thing is to pick them up. You don't want to reject the leafleter. The leafleter is a necessary part of Edinburgh, and you don't want to get into a negative spiral. I've been on the other side of that. It's not nice if people are rude to you. So I always take the leaflet, make sure the leaflet is out of sight, and then put it in the bin.
Ben says the video with Jeremy was amazing and super funny.
Thank you very much. I was talking to Jeremy the other day, and we're off to Cape Town in March. We'll probably do another one like that. I offered to do one in London, but he doesn't seem to want to do one in London for some reason. I think he knows too many people in London who might see me teaching him a thing or two about skateboarding. So watch this space.
Jack says, if you were a lava lamp, what colour would you be?
I think that's pretty obvious. Whatever turns you on. Lava lamp. That's one of those things that goes like that, isn't it? It's one of those 70s thing. Well, it would be like one of my shirts, wouldn't it? How about a black one? A black one, yeah. Because you wouldn't notice that so much.
Martin Williams says, are you named after the poet Shelley?
Martin, think about it. Yes, I am. That's my middle name. Actually, the reason I was called Milton, apparently, is because my parents didn't have a name for me for about six weeks or something. So they decided to turn the radio on, and the next Christian name on the radio, they were going to call me. And for some reason, it was Milton. So I could actually have been called Gardener's Question Time, The News, Here's the Weather, anything like that. But so Milton, I got away with it quite lightly, really.
Neil Wallace says, can you do your Andy Murray impression?
It's a bit dangerous to do that in Scotland, actually. I'm not sure it's very helpful. I might be lynched. But you've just got to and look utterly miserable all the time. But he's a nice lad. Knows his comedy as well, actually.
Danny says, why are you sat in Santa's grotto?
That's a good
That's
point,
our fault.
actually. Yes, well, this is where I was told to sit. But you're right, it could double up. I need a few elves or gnomes. What does Santa have? Yeah, no, I could do with that. In fact, I've got some around me. You just can't see them. But they won't sit on my knee.
Okay, this is the last question. Will Wood, who would win in a fight, you or Dara O'Brien?
I think Dara would win in a fight, probably. He'd probably just sit on me, and that would be or drive over me in a megabus. That's more likely, isn't it? I wouldn't dare get in his way. No, he gives the points out and mock the weak. For goodness' sake, I'd never win anything.
On that note, we're going to wrap up. Do you have any last, final, wise words?
If you think you're going to get exactly what you ordered on Amazon, you've got another thing coming.